Welcome to Squat Rex. Tonight we're going to talk about two variations of the squat. The first variation will be the Zercher squat. The second variation will be the concentric squat. The Zercher squat is a great variation of the squat in which you hold the bar in the crooks of your elbows. It's a great variation for the squat if you are training for strongman type of events or if you're just looking for something different. With the weight held in the crooks of your elbows, the center of gravity is going to change. So rather than being high on your shoulders behind you, now the bar is going to be low and in front of you. It really changes the dynamic of the squat a great deal. Let me demonstrate. Just set yourself up in a squat rack with the bar held a little bit lower than where your elbows are going to be. So set yourself up just like you would for any other squat, getting yourself square in front of the bar, except this time you're going to wrap your elbows underneath. You're going to put your hands together, get tight, unwrap, step back, squat down, and then squat back up, and then walk the way back in. There are variations of the Zercher, like the Zercher lift and the Zercher deadlift. The Zercher lift is a lift that you'll start out as if you were doing a deadlift. From this position, we're then going to go down and we're going to rest the bar on the tops of our thighs, and then we're going to try and get into the Zercher position. And from this position, we will squat the weight up. That's the Zercher lift. Another variation of the Zercher is the Zercher deadlift, which is essentially a deadlift, again with the bar held in the crooks of your elbows. Zercher deadlift. A couple of things to keep in mind with the Zercher squats and the Zercher variations. Number one, it puts your lower back in a bit of a compromised position. So start very light with this exercise, and you want to be extra careful about that lower back. Concentric squats are an interesting variation of squats that you can give a shot just to try something new with your squat training. If you are an athlete who's looking for explosion without a stretch reflex, such as off the line in football, or if you are training for other sports applications, the concentric squat might be a good variation for you to try. If you are a powerlifter, an equipped powerlifter, the concentric squat might help you out of the hole as well. If you're a raw lifter, on the other hand, I'm not convinced that it's necessarily the best variation for you, but it's something you could definitely give a shot to. With the concentric squat, you're going to set yourself up in a power rack with the pins set where you want to get started from, right about parallel or maybe even a little bit below or above. Or you might suspend the weight with chains from the top of the power rack if you have chains available. One thing you want to be very careful of when you're doing concentric squats is that when you come down on the eccentric, which you are de-emphasizing or just letting the weight fall, you want to be very careful of the bar on the way down. You want to be careful that you don't pinch your hands on anything if that's a concern. So be especially careful for any possible dangers that could be associated with the bar dropping or with you going through the eccentric in an accelerated manner. You're going to set the bar up so that you are ready to get started from this low position. You want to make sure that you're building tension as much as possible, just like you would when you were pulling something from the floor. You are going to have the advantage of a stretch reflex on this, so you need to develop tremendous tension on your own from the get-go on this exercise. Set yourself under the bar. Make Make sure you're in good position. Make sure you're set under the bar. Get as tight as possible. And drive up. From this position, you're either going to set the bar down and you're going to de-emphasize the eccentric depending on the strength of your rack. You might have partners help you set the weight down a little bit more gently than that. Looks like a lot, but it's only 245, I think. One last word about variations with your squat. Remember that the best way to improve your regular squat is to squat. If you're adding too many moving parts to your training regimen, you're adding more things that can complicate and possibly break. The less moving parts, the better when it comes to training regimens.